points dropped or a point gained? How do you see that?
It is what it is. I think that obviously the expectation was to get the 3 points because I felt like it was a very important game. It has been a very important game, and perhaps the first half I felt that we were a bit more dominant than Cardiff was. We got a couple of situations, unfortunately not enough to take the lead, because we felt in a game like this with two teams a bit struggling in terms of table position, it was very important to take this lead. And then the second half, definitely they started better than us. They got some experience, championship experience coming from the bench, and in games like this obviously it's an important part of it. It was more difficult the second half, so it depends on how you want to look at it, but I value the effort that the guys made in a game that it was not easy to play, because they play very direct. They got this Danish striker that they got in the winter, and then they play a little bit more direct than what they did in the beginning of the season or in the half part of the season, the middle of the season. And then we had to control this, and perhaps in the second half we got some momentum with these corner kicks, a couple of situations of Cardiff, but it was definitely not enough. So I will never be happy with a draw, never ever. Said that, I don't think it's an unfair result, so I need to be fair as well with the performance of Cardiff and my team. So just to try to accept the situation where we are, try to make sure that we improve and that we get the points that we need in the next 6 games. That's where we are.
Alfie going off, that kind of, obviously you had no recognised striker on the bench. That's the shape kind of, was it difficult to kind of readjust with?
Obviously it's difficult because I cannot draw a striker, I cannot create a striker from players that are not strikers, but that's the reason why Alfie didn't start against Stoke. Not because I don't want him to start, but the reality is that he was coming from a growing injury that has been a little bit there for a while. I think that today he gave us this energy that he's got, his movement, his capacity to stretch in behind, and unfortunately he felt he's growing once again. So I don't know. I think that now the doctor and the medical team will test him, but he was not very optimistic about the next game. So we'll see. That's where we are, and my job is try to get the best of the players that I have at my disposal. I think that Benny is definitely not a natural striker. Is definitely not his position, not the one he trains, not the one that we think he can develop at his best level, but at least he has this running capacity, this capacity to put some pressure, and we try to find some solutions. But obviously it's not an optimal scenario when through the season at some moment we miss most of our centre halves. At some moment of the season we miss our 2 number 6s. Now we're missing 4 strikers. We're missing the 2 natural left wingers that we got in the team. So I said many times that so far it's been an adversity, challenging season in that sense, but it's not going to help us to moan about this or to feel sorry about ourselves. We need to find solutions. We need to get these points that we're missing at the moment, no matter how.
I guess when you have centre backs missing, you can get players that can play centre midfield, can drop in and do a job. With strikers, it's sort of difficult, isn't it? You can't just
same.
Play in that position.
I do believe that there are players that certainly have the capacity to play in different positions, but obviously there is something that costs usually a lot of money in football, that is the ones who can score or know how to score at least. And in that sense is an unfortunate situation, but again, we just need to move on, focus in the things that can really help us to win the next games. And for me to miss, just to talk about how much we are missing 4 strikers will not help us to win against Oxford.
Is Coley in? Is he a chance for Wednesday?
We'll see. Definitely he was not even on the bench today. I think that we need to be very careful with him, because he's not the first injury that he picked, and we need to be careful. But as I said before, the important thing is how we arrive to these last 6 games, not just to think that the next game is the last one and throw in. So let's see how he feels over the next few days, and obviously if he's available will be a very good news, as it was today, Sanfield.
Although obviously you want to win the game, and towards the end there they had a few corners on that, I guess you must be pleased with the defence sort of held out, because
again, I will never be pleased with a draw, never, not even when we score a minute 94, because that's not why I'm here, to draw games. But it's true that to keep a clean sheet after some games we're having too many games we have been conceding, it's a positive. I think it was very positive today. Liam once again jammed in and did a good performance. The positive that Sanfield came back. The plan was for him to play 45 minutes. Was not an easy decision to start him, but I think he did really well, and gave back this confidence, and actually we stretched his minutes a little bit more. But he has this personality, and he's very committed with the team. So we stretched a little bit more than after 5 weeks off. I think he already made a big effort to play today from the start, and it's a good news for the team. So yeah, we're gonna try to focus on the positives.
Can I just talk about Emerson Sutton? He's on the bench today. There's been a lot of talk about him, a lot of excitement about what he's doing in the under 21s. I mean, is he classed as a striker? Is he a number 10? Is he?
He's an attacking player. Definitely can play on left wing, can play as a 10, perhaps even as a 9. I wouldn't say that perhaps number 9 is his main position, but you heard me before many times that I said, man, that sometimes positions of the players depends a lot on who they play around him. So, and then depend on how you want to attack, it's not the same to play with Caddy as a right winger than to play with a Smithy. So depending who plays around him, he could play in one other position. The good thing is that he was today on the bench because he has been doing really well with the Devil squad. And yeah, another young player that hopefully will help us not only in the next 6 games but in the future.
Is he ready to play in the first team? Was it?
Why not? If he's on the bench and he has been doing well on the training, he's definitely ready. Then it's about when we find the right moment, the right situation for him to jump and have an impact on the games.
I guess he's not throwing him in too early. Could be for young players.
Look, I could be sitting here and try to pretend that I'm promoting a lot of young players and then get a medal because I made, 25 players made his debut over the last year with me as a head coach. My target is to make sure that when those guys are jumping, are ready to succeed. That's my target, not just to throw them and then if it doesn't work, next one. So I want to go step by step as we did with Kieran Morgan, that for instance, in my opinion, he did really well on precision, but we were building until he got a moment where he showed that he was ready for it. So that's the case with all the young players. Alfie Lloyd, I think that has been showing this season that is already a reality. Of course, all the young players can improve, as even a 35 years old can improve. So we are here to try to help them. But the most important thing is they can be important players for QPR in the future, not for the next game or another young player made his debut this season. That's not the target.
Marti, I saw you say in the week that this was the most important game of the season. Did you like how the players responded to that message?
I really like it, and I know that perhaps some people will not agree with me because of the result, and I know that especially now, straight after the game, all of us, we're going to be very emotional, but I think that the response was there, the intent is there. If we were not good enough today to win, we just need to look. I need to look at myself at the mirror and say what I could have done better to win the game. And that's what we're going to do, definitely. But the reality is that this team is trying. I cannot say that these guys are not running. I cannot say that these guys are not putting all the effort on the trainings, on trying to get us in the position at the end of the season that we want. But yeah, reality is that it's not easy, the situation where we are because of the last results, because of many reasons that you probably already know.
And why did you decide to bring Sam straight back in? You had Jonathan on the bench. Was that an easy decision?
No, not an easy decision, but to be honest, I was not very happy about the performance against the Stoke. Probably you noticed that. I was not very happy with the performance of some players, and I think that Sam is a very important player for us. Responded really well to the challenge, and sometimes as well to get the best of players. They need a reality check because there is players in this team with big potential, but that they need to learn to compete week after week after week, and it's something that Sam Field has learned probably through his experience in Championship, that is a very relentless league, very long league, and you need to be at the top of your game constantly. So I think that he did really well, and it's definitely one of the very good news. The next good news is that I'm sure that Jonah will be very important in the next 6 games because he's a very good player.
A similar idea with Jack Colback. He's obviously gone from not really playing to playing a lot, but is that sort of experience, that Championship know-how going to be really important these next few weeks?
Well, he has not playing much because of the injury, but because when he has been available, definitely he has been playing, I would say, quite a lot, but we had to go step by step. Sometimes the reality of the team allows me to do things, if you want, properly, if you can call it this way, in order to build the confidence, build you want the fitness, not fitness, but the capacity to compete week after week for the players. And sometimes we don't have this option, and we just need to push more, as we did today with Sam. But yeah, I think that Jack is a very important player for us and will help us in the next 6 games.
And with the lack of attacking players and strikers, are you always going to have to change the way you play at times over the next few weeks just to score goals?
It's been a constant all season. It's been definitely unfortunately constant during the whole season that we had to adapt. Already, I would say from the pre-season, we had a big plan, a big approach during the preseason, and then suddenly Ili picks an injury that takes him out for 3 months. And Ili, as you know, I rate him very high, and he was very important for us last season. He's a very important player for us. A player that in his career at QPR has been playing always 40 games each all seasons, and that this season picks 3 different injuries. It's definitely very unlucky, but that's just one of the examples that I could give you. When Ryan Colley was coming back from an injury, he was starting to play at really good level, then he picks another one. When Michi Frey was starting to be this striker, and then it's different to play with Ryan at the top than to play with Alfie than to play with Michi. So we always try to find solutions, but these are the things that in the pitch, especially for the players, the relations change a lot. And I understand that perhaps for the neutral fan it's not easy, but I would like them to think about those things, how much we had to change, not only at the top, but at the back line. If you look how many combinations on the back line we had this season, it's very rare. You will not find many teams in the league that has this rotation, but it has been a forced rotation, not because I wanted to try different things.